To the second day of our second annual construction conference for the Maestra Entrepreneur Center. Today, we are starting the day with our Women in Construction panel. So if each of you ladies want to introduce yourselves, and then y'all can go ahead and get started with the conversation.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day two. I'm Taryn Ritchie. I work for Ryan Companies. I have been in the industry for about 21 years. Ryan Companies is a national comprehensive commercial real estate services developer, architect, capital investment consultant, builder, and real estate manager. I work in our construction side, and I have been with Ryan for 7 years, and I'm happy to be your moderator today.
Okay, I guess I'll go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Portia Tolbert. I work for Turner Construction, which is an international general contractor. We have 4 offices here in the state of Texas, including one in San Antonio. I am our Senior Community and Citizenship Coordinator for our San Antonio and Austin business units. And I've been in the industry for about 7 years now.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Yvette Robinson, and I am the owner of Robinson General Contractors. We started Robinson General Contractors about 10 years ago, and it's been a long journey, and I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So we did a little bit of an introduction about ourselves, but Portia, could you tell us how long you've been in the industry and why you joined the construction industry?
Sure. So I mentioned I've been in the industry about 7 years. It'll be 7 years in June. So very excited about that. And I decided to join the industry. Actually, it was a little bit by mistake. I wanted to do architecture and be an architect, but as fate would have it, I received or earned a full scholarship that required me to major in a STEM field. And so I chose construction engineering because it was the closest thing to architecture. And I fell in love with this field of study, with the industry. And so I actually have a degree in construction engineering. And the first 5 years of my career I spent on the operational side of the industry, most of that time as a superintendent and some of it as an engineer and a cost analyst. But I just enjoy the process of building a structure. And I always have. I've enjoyed putting things together. And so I kind of just fell into this industry, I guess, intuitively based on my interests.
Awesome. Yvette, we want to tell us a little bit about why you joined the industry and, how long and maybe the different positions that you had.
So I have been in the industry my whole life. I come from a long line of carpenters and entrepreneurs. My dad is a home builder in Laredo, Texas, Paisano Home Builders. Hi, Dad. So he didn't have any sons. I'm the oldest daughter of 3 girls, and I would go and help him, hold the barrote and, the 2x4s and go. I was smaller than him, so I could squeeze under the house, or I can do things that he couldn't reach, and he would kind of guide me and, do this or do that for him. And, back then I didn't realize what a learning experience that was, or how special it was until now. It took me a long time to realize that was a blessing.
Awesome. So what are any areas that you've encountered any biases or barriers to being a woman in construction? We start with you, Portia.
Sure. So I thought about this for a while because there are many barriers, I'll say, and many instances of bias. But if I had to identify one, I would say communication, stifled communication or different communication styles. From my experience, most companies have anti or non-discrimination policies, but I think that they sometimes are unable to address the differences in communication that occur. It's no secret that there aren't a lot of women in the industry. And I can remember one of my first project managers being pretty visibly uncomfortable or just not sure how to communicate with me on the job site, because, you know, it's a very uncommon sight to see a young Black woman at that on a job site in a field position. And so that made it a little difficult for me to learn information, share information, and just speak intelligently about certain things. And so I had to find other ways to contribute early on in my career because there was that barrier of, you know, I want to say the politically correct thing. I don't want to say anything wrong. So I'm going to just kind of tiptoe around the way I communicate certain things to you. So that's one bias that I have personally experienced.
Yvette?
So with me, my experience has been that, you know, especially when I first got started, you know, I would go to pre-bid meetings, or I would go, you know, to an event, and I was considered the receptionist, or, you know, are you taking notes? I have my own process. So, you know, just getting the respect from the fellow people that were there, it's definitely been a journey. And from time to time, you know, you have to kind of set your foot down and, you know, explain to them the processes that you're taking in order to make your company grow.
I think it's important to just, you know, having your voice heard is one of the things, you know, the biggest step that I think I encountered too is always like, do I talk now or do I wait? You know, like always doubting yourself too a little bit when you're, you know, voicing your opinion. So what, why is it important to promote women in construction? We start, Yvette, with this time.
Well, it's important to promote women in construction because we're here and we're not going anywhere. You know, I'm here, I'm doing my job. I'm obviously doing it right, you know, to the best of my ability. And it's always good to promote other women in construction because you're building those relationships. I can't take all the work. I'm still a small business. So, you know what? I know Taryn, she can help you. And, you know, maybe this is a job that's better suited for her. And I would expect the same in return. You know, it's building relationships. You know, I can't hate on anyone because they have their own company.
For sure.
Yeah.
Portia?
Yeah, and I'd add to that, representation is very important for women, just same for minorities. It's that seeing someone that looks like you or relates to your demographic and leadership is incredibly impactful for just believing that it's possible. And so I think it's really important to promote women in construction to inspire the next generation, the high schoolers, even the middle school girls, to know that this is an option and a career path that is available to them, and that they are capable of doing. So that's kind of why it's important to me.
Yep.
Very, very important. So what inspires you to connect with women in your workplace or just women in general? Start with Portia.
Something that inspires me is to connect with women is just being able to discuss shared experiences. I think since there are so few women in the industry, it can sometimes feel isolating. Like, oh my goodness, I'm the only one here. I'm the only one experiencing this. I don't know who to talk to about this experience or how to navigate this dynamic. And so when I talk to other women, I am kind of comforted. Like, I'm not alone. We do have some common experiences. And then further, everyone's an individual. So everyone responds a little bit differently. And so I've learned how to respond to certain things by talking, connecting with other women in the industry.
Very helpful. Yvette, do you have anything to share there?
Oh, yes. So, you know, connecting with women in construction, I think I do on a daily basis, especially when you're filling out paperwork for different companies that you're working for and you're working with subcontractors. So I am very hands-on. I do speak a lot to my subcontractor staff, and, you know, they're the ones that are in the know. You know, you need that paperwork and you're building those relationships with them. You know, this is what I need, you know, and everything has a solution. And usually it's the other women in the other offices that I have to talk to in order to come to that solution. And like, great, we got it solved. And, you know, we move on, and, you know, little by little, you're kind of meeting people on the phone as I'm seeing you guys on the screen here. And then when we meet in person, it's like we've been friends forever.
Yes, yes. So what advice would you give other women who are in a male-dominated field? Maybe not necessarily construction, but just in general. You want to start, Portia?
Bet I'll let you go first.
Okay.
I'm still thinking.
Yeah.
So what advice,
Me
just,
too.
be yourself and keep doing what you're doing because you're doing it right. Without women in a male-dominated field, I think sometimes we're a bit more, at least so with me, I'm a very, I observe and, I like to treat everybody equally. So I see what, that's going to be a problem right there. So I get to know other people's personalities. That's a hard question, Taryn.
That's why I said,
Just be yourself. My advice to anyone is always just be yourself. Don't be somebody different, and everything will fall into place. And don't change for anyone.
I agree. I think I would add two things. The first is to find a network, find a support system, a community, a village, however you resonate with that. Because kind of my answer to the last question, my response is that it's so important to have somewhere, someplace, some group of people where you can express yourself and share about what you're experiencing. So one thing I've noticed is that nothing changes until something changes, right? And that sounds, I don't know, but it's that you have to talk about your experiences if you want to be able to shift and influence change. And something else that I would say is, and I wish someone would have told me this, is don't gaslight yourself. And for those who don't know what gaslighting is, it's causing you to doubt your actual experience. So I felt that I was experiencing bias or discrimination, whether conscious or unconscious, early in my career, but because there are different policies in place, or because I didn't feel that there was like malice or ill intent, I kind of convinced myself like, no, this isn't real. I'm not really experiencing this, or it's in my head. But that was kind of harmful for me. It made it difficult for me to focus in the workplace, to do my job some days, because I would just, in some instances, just have this worry or anxiety coming to work, like, am I going to have to, am I going to speak in a meeting and get spoken over, or am I going to have to say something and then someone else says it and they get the credit? So, just whatever you're experiencing, it's happening, and so go and discuss that with a group, with a village, and, be the change and influence that change that you want to see, and hopefully invite some other women to the industry.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Like you said, the tribe, the village, whatever you want to call it. We've all, experienced a lot of things. I mean, I've been in the industry for 21 years, so got that. And just, with tips and advice that we can share with people. I think that's really important. So, I think going from there, what policies or practices do your company do that could help with the work-life balance for women in construction? So, I think, for me, it was like when I had my child, I was worried, was there going to be a place for me when I came back, or have to start from the bottom again? So what kind of experiences or practices do your companies have, or that you have seen work?
So
Okay,
I'm very small. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go.
No. Sorry about that. Always great to say which one. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I've seen that I think is awesome with Turner is a mother's room. So we have a mother's room in our San Antonio office and our Austin office. So if someone has a baby and they're breastfeeding, they can go into their room during work hours and pump their milk, and so that they don't have to leave or what have you. And I think that's really forward thinking, especially for our industry. And something else that I've seen, and I'm not sure if it really is could be considered work-life balance, but I think it's also very good and important to women, is that women have separate restroom facilities or like porta johns on the job site. And in some cases they're locked. So only the women can use them. And I just think that that added consideration really makes a difference in the job site climate.
Does, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yvette, did you have anything to add? Yeah.
So for me, I'm very flexible with my employees. I'm still a very small business, so I do understand, and I've been the employee, and I understand that things happen in people's lives. So if you need to take your son to the doctor and it's Friday afternoon, you know what? I need you to, your health and your family life come before work. The work's going to be there tomorrow, and you know, we'll get through it, or catch me up and let me know where you are and I will finish the bid packet, or, you know, whatever I need to do to make your life easier. Because at the end of the day, we're all a work family, and you're going to spend more time at my office than you probably do at home. So I'm very big on, you know, just let me know how I can help you, because I want you to stay with me. I want you to grow and retire with me. So I make a point that, you know what, things happen in people's lives, and if you need to leave early or you need the day off, by all means, take it.
That's great. Those are great policies and practices, and we do have the mother's room, or actually it could be mother's or meditation room is what we call it too. So people need to get away and meditate. So those are great as well. So what mentoring? Let's talk about mentoring. Have you had or participated in any mentor options for women in construction? And then why do you think these are important? Yvette, you want to go first, or?
So I haven't participated in a mentorship program, but you know, if someone approaches me and asks for advice, you know, I'm always here to give them my perspective and what my experiences were. As far as mentoring, I did start a internship program with Texas A&M, and you know, I'm always willing to take those interns that want to come in, and I encourage the women to come over and help me grow, because that's something I would love to have, is more women in my office.
Great. Portia?
I have not participated in any mentoring per se, but I plan to with my alma mater, the alumni chapter of my alma mater, which is Florida A&M University. Have to shout them out. But I do plan to, and I think that it's incredibly important, because I think I've had mentors for certain seasons within my career, and they came and they went, and each of them served a really important role. The biggest of which was just helping me to find the confidence in myself to believe that I was capable of being successful in the industry. And so I believe that it's my duty, my job, to carry that forward. And so it's extremely important. It was for me, at least.
That's awesome. So let's talk about, how do you or your company showcase, expose, or highlight careers in construction for women? Do you want to start with this one, Portia?
Sure. So we always participate in WIC Week, Women in Construction Week, which is in March. That's locally, statewide, nationwide. We will host or attend events to celebrate the women, and we send out a business unit-wide email thanking all the women. We post and highlight them on social media so that they can gain exposure in their careers. And then past that, I have been involved with the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas, which has a STEM club that's focused on building, design, and construction for girls. And so in that way, we are highlighting the career opportunities within the industry to the next generation, and hopefully inspiring them to look into it as well.
Yeah, we've been partnering with the Central Texas Girl Scout troop here to do our Block Kids event with NAWIC, and they just love it. So we're seeing different ways we can partner with them. That's a great opportunity to get a lot of girls in the limelight, like talking about our positions and what it's not just about picking up a hammer, right? So there's other jobs, and a lot of them are pretty cool. So Yvette, what do you do?
So what do I do to
Yeah,
like highlight?
highlight careers, yeah, for women.
So I just joined the National Women in Construction, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
But I did hire a young girl. She's a college graduate and she didn't have experience in construction. So I kind of brought her in and I'm trying to teach her the ropes and, help
Yeah.
out with bid packets. So I'm starting her off from the bottom and I'm trying to see where it'll take us, what position, where does she shine the best? So that's as far as I've gotten with that. I'm always encouraging people to come in and, kind of help out and see where you shine the best and what suits, what's your best fit in the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to add something too. I forgot to mention it, and I would be terrible if I didn't. We also have employee resource groups, and one of them is focused on women. And so we gather as kind of our own tribe inside of the company, and we highlight one another and discuss some of our own accomplishments. And they also do different community service things with various organizations to share the opportunity of construction. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah,
It would be very sad if I didn't.
yeah, we have a women's inclusion network that we do the same thing. It's a great opportunity to hear every woman's story. It's not just women, but we have women, men, and then internal and external folks coming in and just sharing their stories. It's always great to learn about what's going on in our communities and different politicians. We've kind of had the gamut. It's just great to get different perspectives and see how that come through. So Yvette, I have one last question for you, and then we can open it up to questions, or we just chat a little bit more. But so as a woman-owned business, what are some tips, resources, or additional advice that you would give to other women in construction that are interested in maybe starting their own business?
So one of the things that I ran across when we first started Robinson General Contractors was, and I always hold this very dear to my heart, it was the Small Business Development Center. Without them, I don't think I would be where I am today. They give you the tools and they show you the path and you do the rest of the work. Shirley Smith, who's no longer there, I consider her a friend, and Miss Jackie Jackson. And without them, I couldn't even fathom on where I would be today. So definitely reach out to them. It's free. It's at UTSA. So that's one of the avenues that I would suggest for anyone to take. And that gives you the education resources, like to understand what certifications are, your small minority women, what, how do you get them and what do they mean and what can you use them for, so that's definitely something I would advise them to do. Secondly, I would advise you to join an industry related association and a chamber, but don't just join and not participate. You want to use those to the fullest extent. I mean, it's your money, you're a small business. So go to those networking events. And I do understand that there's COVID right now, but there's programs like this where you're gathering advice and these events are important for you to get your foot in the door, even if it's not the person that you want to speak to, maybe they know someone that can point you in the right direction. So take advantage of those opportunities and use your memberships. It's hard sometimes. It was really hard for me to get out there being a small business. Nobody knows you. I don't know anyone, and I'm going to these events by myself. So I did kind of feel like an outsider, but before you knew it, I was making friends and building those relationships. And now I don't even feel uncomfortable. So, and thirdly, just be yourself.
Yeah, and I will echo that too. I mean, I pick and choose the associations that I participate in, but as our company, we're in a lot of them. So, there's so many different resources that each one of them have. And, I always tell people to don't join as a member yet. Go to some of their events, see, if their values align or what they're doing aligns with what you have in mind for your business. So
And don't go to
But
everything. You don't need
yeah,
to go to
yeah,
everything. Pick and
no,
choose. What is it that interests
yes.
you? Is it fishing, golf?
Yeah, interest, and also, that will benefit your company too. We always look at that ROI, right? You get in what you put out, or you get what you put in. So that, going forward, you're not just putting your name on something to put your name on something. So we have we kind of have champions, right, for each organization that we join. Maybe if it's not you, if it's someone else in your office that's passionate about that, and have them join, have them go check it out. So definitely encourage that. um and so it looks like we have one question for Yvette. How many employees do you have, and how many are women?
So I have 15 employees and I have 4 women. I'd like to have more women, but right now, being as small as I am, I think right now we're at a comfortable space, but I'm always looking for good people. So, I'm always accepting resumes. So you can always send your resume to hr@robinsongc.com. So if there's an opportunity for someone, then we'll definitely give them a call.
Awesome. So any other questions from the audience here? We've got a few more minutes, so if anyone has any questions for us, or we can just chat about some other things. I think of
Yes, we do have one question coming
Okay.
in here
okay.
from Whitney Oldfather. Hi, Yvette. Whitney with ACI. I don't have a question, but just wanted to say hi. We just got set up with you guys last week to receive bid requests for Div 27, 28. I look forward to working with you. I guess not a question, just a comment.
Hello.
Awesome.
I see a
So,
question.
Yeah.
I see a question from Crystal Royal in the Q&A box. She asked, how do we get women interested in the construction industry, and are there any associations or groups that any of you can offer?
Yeah, so I think Yvette, you talked about it, but National Association of Women in Construction is a great
Yes.
one. We have chapters in San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston, Waco, El Paso, Corpus, Dallas, Fort Worth. So we have chapters all over. Again, what I recommend to everyone before they join is go to one of their meetings, go to some of their events. We have regional, we have national events. Some people choose to just participate in the events, and you don't have to be a member to go to anything. Usually there are a few meetings that we have that are maybe members only, but most everything you can attend as a non-member. Just go check it out, see if it's worth it. There's also some women in engineering chapters that are opening up. If you're, I think they focus more on the field side, or engineering side, but there's a lot of different great organizations that are in our area. I mean, Austin especially, I know y'all are in San Antonio, so you probably know more about those, but do your homework, make sure that you're looking at that. And I think another important thing is too that we started about 2 years ago with NAWIC. Was we started a camp to educate girls about opportunities, right? It's not about picking up a hammer all the time, but we're going to show you how to swing a hammer. But it's, we have virtual design and construction, which is covering, augmented reality, virtual reality. We're, building up, we're building the offices so that the client can walk through those. We have people that do that. We have marketing, we have accounting, we have, when I do pre-con and estimating, project management, we have carpenters, we have superintendents. There's so many possibilities. Interior designers, all of the architectural and engineering are covered in the construction realm. So don't just think that it's one type of job. Showing them that there's a variety of jobs, and also teaching them how to use the screwdriver and all, just some basic fundamental skills that everyone should know. So
Yes.
That's what we are focusing on. So I think I can share this. I did a slide with everyone with our contact information on it. Can y'all see that now?
No.
No? Okay,
No.
sorry. 1 second here.
while you're sharing that, if I could just add to
Yeah.
the response to that question, is that I would also encourage women to join the AGCs, the ABCs, and to I don't know, look into, some of them have their own women-focused committee. Some of them could maybe use one, but to add on to the infrastructure or the network that already exists, rather than, you know, trying to make our own. I think that's really important, because at the end of the day, it is a male-dominated industry, and so we have to work together. And also with regards to encouraging other women and girls to get into the industry, I would just say career fairs and getting into the grade school arenas or environments, because I didn't hear or learn about construction as a career path until I got to college. And had I not had an engineering background already, I think it would have been a pretty tough transition into the career path. And so if we start earlier, we can start planting the seeds and inspiring them to think about, you know, oh, okay, so the first thing they're going to think is it's a hammer. And you can say, okay, that's one piece, but there's also, there's accounting, there's marketing, you know, there's so many other things that aren't even necessarily STEM related that the industry still needs. So I think it's just early exposure to help them get involved.
Yeah, I think if we start in high school, it started too late. So we're trying to middle school approach, because there's opportunities for kids in high school. You know, we have a couple of high schools here that have P-Tech programs where they can leave with an associate's degree in construction management through the community college. So, you know, it's a 5-year program. So it's a 5-year high school. So, but they can, you know, technically graduate with their class, but also graduate with an associate's degree already. So I would just say, you know, we get to start a little bit sooner so they know about those opportunities, and that you can transfer to those high schools and usually get in pretty easily if that's something you want to do. But I think the younger the better is in my opinion. You know, when you talk to someone who's already got their choice sheet done, it's really hard for them to rearrange that, you know, if they take sports or whatever. So you know, our goal is to start them you know, as younger, so that they have a couple of years to look through all of the opportunities that are offered in high schools now, which are a lot more than when I was in school. So, and I'm sure for both of y'all as well. So I put up a slide. I hope everybody can see it with the my email address. If you have any questions for me, like I said, I'm happy to help or give advice or whatever. Yvette and Portia's contact, they said that I could share that with y'all as well. I don't just see any other chats, but my or Q&A, if anyone has it. I think we have 10 more minutes, so don't want to end it too soon, but we'll stay on and answer any questions that anyone has. And Portia or Yvette, if you have anything else you want to share, it's a great time to do it.
I'm just incredibly thankful to be here with you guys, and both, you know, both of you are extremely inspiring to me, and I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. And
Crystal Royal, I see that she's been chatting with us, so I love that.
Yeah.
Crystal.
Crystal.
Yeah. Is there a way to hear? I'm just interested in the stories of hearing from some of the attendees if we have time. I don't know how the platform works, but if any of them have any experiences that might be fun for us to know, or, you know, insightful.
Yeah, Samantha, can any of the panel or the attendees chat or chat only, or can they talk?
I believe they can. We can allow them to talk. So if anyone would be interested in doing that.
Yeah, I think if you can like raise your hand or something, we could probably get that for you.
I see Sarah said something, Sarah Navarro. She said, "Thank you all for your time and valuable insight to this elephant in the room topic. I found confidence builders throughout the entire presentation. I am the only female in my company, so you touched base with me multiple times. Thank you. Oh, that's nice.
It's awesome.
And then Crystal. Crystal said, love you ladies, and thank you for being the best part. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Still got a couple more minutes. I'm trying to think of some more information that we could share.
I'd like to say I'd give a shout out to some of the associations that, I think somebody asked. I'm part of the Hispanic Contractors Association, and I absolutely love them to pieces. You can look them up. They're in San Antonio, and they have great events. And like Taryn said, go and it's free. It doesn't cost a penny sometimes to go and network and bring a business card. Also, I'm part of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I've met a lot of small business companies through there, and I'm a firm believer that small business builds cities. So they don't necessarily need to be in construction, but I'm a big supporter of the small business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The local businesses to support local and small. One of my biggest one of the biggest things that I always tell people, and I'll echo on that too, a little bit about, there's small business incubator programs. I mean, Maestro has some. They're working through that. Check out their programs. I'm sure there are many items that they offer that you need. You need to grow, and especially if you're thinking about maybe starting your own business, and they have the resources to help. And don't be afraid to ask for help. If you don't understand something or don't know something, don't let that be a barrier for you to maybe submitting a bid or any of those things, or maybe thinking about taking a new job opportunity. So like I said, my contact is here. I'm more than willing to share all my knowledge. It's a couple of years worth. So
I see a question. Could you share more information for the PTAC assistants here in San Antonio? My advice would be I don't have it on me, but Google Small Business Development Center San Antonio, and it will take you to the website, and any information you need to know is on there. To piggyback off what Taryn said, if you're looking for assistance, or if you're starting your company and you're, at least from my experience, I didn't know how to fill out an AIA pay application. So, there's questions that you want to ask and you're not sure, or you feel that it's not important. Everything's important. There's not a dumb question. I would probably reach out, and, sometimes you do need a little bit of help on, what is certified payroll and how do I get this done? And, I like to understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it in order to do it correctly. So don't be afraid to ask those questions.
Yes,
definitely.
definitely.
And then also, continue to reach out. You might have to reach out to a few different people. What I found as I've been learning this part of the industry, where I focus mainly on building relationships with the underutilized contractor community, so the women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses, is that everyone has a little bit of the information, but you may need to talk to a few people before all of it comes together. So don't, like just reiterating, don't be afraid to ask for help. And maybe you may ask for help, with everything, or maybe pick one thing, like, I just help me with this one thing, and then come back and then pick a different thing until you can fit all of the pieces together.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to be a squeaky wheel. Like, I mean, if you're trying to get your foot in the door with the company, don't just take a one-time, response or answer or lack of response and just be like, okay, well, they didn't respond, or I didn't get the answer I was looking for. Keep on it, and if it's the next year and you say, okay, well, I've grown my capacity by this much, I can do X, Y, and Z now. I wasn't able to do that last year. I think those are really important for women-owned businesses and just in general, small businesses. It's really important to continue to do that outreach and not just say, I did it once, it didn't work, write it off and move on. Just keep on, bugging us. I tell everyone that, you know, sometimes it's not a good fit right now, but doesn't mean that we won't have something coming up in the future. So
When I started my company, I didn't get any work for about 1.5 years. It was hard. When they say blood, sweat, and tears, it's true. It's
Yeah.
very true. And, you know, I was about to give up, and I got that one small job that gave me hope. And here I am today.
Yeah.
So. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Dana. She commented here on the chat, and I actually used her for my house. So I'm glad that she's here.
Awesome.
Crystal Royal has raised her hand, so I don't know. I can allow her to talk if that's okay with y'all.
Sure.
Yes.
Glad we don't have on a video. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Crystal.
I just wanted to jump in and really talk about the ladies on this panel. I've not had the pleasure of meeting you, Portia, but I look forward to meeting you. I've worked with Yvette. I've worked with Taryn. They're speaking a truth in this industry. I started in construction, and I found my passion. I started in oil and gas, and then moved to retail. And you're right. When I started in this industry, yeah, I got the same thing. Are you the receptionist? Are you here to take notes? No, I'm here to tell you what you're going to do. So walking on site, you know, I'm in my suit and my hard hat, and they're like, oh, yeah. So, you know, and we have moved into a new era where women are in this field. And I think young women need to hear more from ladies like you in this field, and so that understand that no, it's not what you think. We are actually bringing a newness to this industry. I think you were correct in saying that some of the things that we see in the sites that we see in the detail that we see, a different tone to this industry. And don't be afraid. I truly am so proud to see this panel and more panels like this happening, so that young women understand that there is a role and a place for them in this industry. So I thank the Maestro Center for putting this panel on, and I thank you ladies for speaking about who you are in this industry, and keep doing so. Please keep working. I'm seeing more and more women, young women, being interested in this industry, and it's because of ladies like you. So I want to applaud you and keep doing what you're doing.
We appreciate it, Crystal. We applaud you for all that you do as well. So I think we have 1 more minute. If we have any other questions, can chat them through, or you know, like I said, our contact information is here. Please reach out.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I'm always taking subcontractors. If you send me an email, I'll be sure to share that with my estimators. And you know, this is the best way to get some good subcontractors. If you're starting your company and you're a small business, and, you know, by all means, send me your information and we'll get that relationship started.
Yes, thank you.
Likewise, if you're interested in learning on how to do business with Turner, please email me and I will get back to you and we can have a discussion about it.
And we'll just follow that up with, if you want to work for Ryan Companies, you have got our email addresses too. I put some links to some information about Ryan in our company bio that's in the app. So there's my contact is in there as well too. So, and a little bit more about Ryan Companies. So. Right,
awesome. Well, it looks like we're right on time. Thank you so much, ladies, for talking about your experience and really sharing, you know, your wisdom with us today. We really appreciate it. Our next session will begin at 9 a.m. So thank you again to all of you and to all of our viewers as well.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.